but most people will say, oh yeah, I hate that one. That one sucks. That one's garbage. It's trash. Shut up. Welcome home, Ret Pack. Marcus here, and welcome to Comfort Cartoons, this show where I collect absolutely everything from the late 90s, 2000s, all the way to the modern day. I'm also trying to create the world's biggest Spongebob and Nickelodeon collection. And the CEO of this company and my dog also happen to be part of the Platform Wars.
The Laserdisc Guardian.
It's beautiful.
But I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and if you guys aren't, you know the drill. Spongebob DVD collection flip.
It's the attack of the SpongeBob DVDs!
It's about to get a whole lot brighter, Ret Pack, because your boy is here. Today is going to be an awesome day because we are going to be adding to our world's biggest collection. As of right now, we've done this video series for two different things. We've added every Nickelodeon and SpongeBob video game together in this counter right here. So that's how many video games we have in the collection right now. But we also did that same thing with some clothing, and we did only half of it so far, and we're here. That's only half of that number right there. But today, we are going to be adding to the DVD collection, which is currently at 0, as you guys can see. Obviously, you guys know we have countless DVDs in this room. Some based off SpongeBob, some based off Nickelodeon, and if we go ahead inside, we've got some that are Disney, Cartoon Network, you name it. But we're only counting the Nickelodeon and SpongeBob stuff. Today, we're starting with SpongeBob because, I mean, the man, I've said it before, come on over here, this is my favorite spot of the room, just to breathe in the vibes. He is, zoom in, my lord. The guy is the king of Nickelodeon. So half of the DVDs in the collection easily are all based off of SpongeBob. Today, we are going to be adding to the DVDs and the VHS, all the stuff that concerns SpongeBob media. I definitely don't have every SpongeBob DVD, but we're going to need to catalog them all so we know which ones we have and we don't have. And I definitely think it's probably one of the bigger collections there is. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so getting into the SpongeBob DVDs and the whole history is going to take some time. I mean, we're going to try to create a little bit of a timeline here, but starting out, it came out with the original SpongeBob season disc set, which are on screen right here. The green box one I actually had growing up. Inside that box actually has a printed handwritten letter from Steven Hillenburg, essentially saying thank you to everybody who picked up the DVDs and supporting the show. But when I was gathering my collection, I was aiming just to get all of the episodes watchable. Same thing with my Scooby-Doo collection. I just want to be able to watch every single episode. Now though, the SpongeBob ones, I am on the lookout for those season boxes, but most of my collection consists of how could I watch every single episode possible, and along with a bunch of special discs that have special features on them, and I got those for those different reasons. We'll go through them, but the first thing we're starting off with has to be the king, the greatest film ever released in my opinion, and that is the SpongeBob movie. I could talk about this movie literally all day. As you guys can see, this video is already very long, so I'm not going to. But the movie released in 2004. For a long time, the SpongeBob movie was one of Nickelodeon's #1 grossing films. But you want to know what passed that?
Oh, I'm afraid to ask, but yeah, tell me.
One of them you like.
What am I
Our
like?
boy Ong.
Ooh!
Yeah, not Aang, Ong.
Wait.
Ong, Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
No.
It actually beat the SpongeBob movie. But do you want to know what actually got #1? Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Yeah. But personally, I think that the SpongeBob movie is the most iconic. Like, I don't think a lot of people are looking back and like, oh yeah, that was it. That was prime childhood. You know, SpongeBob the movie though, this was a cultural phenomenon. I would never forget my childhood watching this film. I saw the promos for this movie 2 years before it came out, and like I say, it was an actual cultural phenomenon. You would see people walking down the streets with SpongeBob ponchos. Every store you went to, they seemed like they had some kind of display. You went to 7-Eleven, they had Slurpees. You went to the hardware store, Lowe's had promotions going on. You went to Burger King, they had the meal toys, the actual SpongeBob display on the roof. Like, we will never get something like this again.
Such an unfortunate reality. So I mean, imagine if you're a kid seeing all this stuff, and then you're like, I can't be the only person who won't see this movie.
Exactly, and for me, as a SpongeBob fan, as you guys can see, SpongeBob is a huge part of my life, and I would say a huge part of my sense of humor, and definitely a character that I try to model at least my sense of spirit after, because he's just endearing and happy all the time. So the movie and that whole cultural phenomenon really validated my fandom, so I will always be grateful for this movie. I think this is one of the greatest films ever made in some people's eyes, but also from the creator Steven Hillenburg's the true ending to the SpongeBob series. I don't think we're actually gonna probably get into anything that really beats this today. It's a Neptune's crown of SpongeBob media. But over here we do have the collection, so we're gonna add all 4 of these into our counter right here, being the full screen, widescreen black box, and also the widescreen yellow frame French variation right here. So we are missing right now the black box of the full screen collection, because, you know, back in our day, guys, they had to make 2 different discs for widescreen, full screen. But we need to still get the French variation black box as well. But we've got 4 on the counter. You'll see I have a big stack of SpongeBob DVDs over here, but we cannot add these to the counter due to the fact that they are duplicates. And as of right now, what I've done with my research is Guinness does not count duplicates into the collection. It has to be changes, even if it's a very small variation, like the boxes being different colors. But these ones all fall under what we already have. So we're gonna go ahead and put these down here. We are still trying to make a separate collection of the world's biggest SpongeBob movie collection. Okay, and for the SpongeBob movie, I don't even think there's a debate. S tier.
S tier.
S for SpongeBob. Absolutely S tier. But moving on here, we gotta stay in the movie ties here. We got the Sponge Out of Water movie. And you know what? I was incorrect, actually. My bad. So I mentioned earlier that this one was one of the highest grossing, but I did not mention that it's not the highest grossing SpongeBob film. Do you wanna know what the highest grossing SpongeBob film ever was?
But it doesn't matter because like it won't compare.
It
right?
won't compare, but the box office and the millions upon millions of dollars that they brought in says something. Right off the bat of the Marvel superhero era, they decided to drop one of the more controversial SpongeBob movies, and that is the Sponge Out of Water film. A lot of people are not as big of a fan of the sequel of the SpongeBob movie being the Sponge Out of Water, or even the new one, Sponge on the Run. But personally, as a SpongeBob fan, I am a huge fan of all 3 of those films. I think all 3 of them bring something different to the table, so I enjoy all of them. But there's no questions asked that if we were to put our alligator mouths out, it's all day gonna be this side. But Sponge Out of Water is an iconic film. I love it so much. It came out in 2015, but do you remember we actually saw this movie in the theater together, and I still have my actual movie ticket stub of when this movie came out.
I do remember that. I remember there being an uncomfortable amount of kids, and we were far from that.
But I also love the 3D imaging of this movie altogether. I think the movie looks beautiful in my opinion, and that is the #1 grossing SpongeBob film to ever be released. And I think obviously whatever movie that came out in your childhood is gonna be the one that you say is the best. Like for us, this is the one that I think is the best. But for somebody who grew up watching this one, they're probably gonna pick this one because it's got the superhero vibes, it's more modern. You know, that's always gonna be what you think is the best one, is the one that you grew up watching.
I mean, they could be wrong, it's fine.
Gen Z could be dumb. Yo, Gen Z is extremely intelligent, actually. It's honestly kind of scary. So we add that one into the collection because we have this one right here. We're gonna add 3. We've got this film right here, which is the one with the bonus SpongeBob movie, the original one in it. Right over there, Parker can zoom in. We've got the Invisibubble copy as well. I knew we were forgetting one when we were loading all these up. And in storage, we have the SpongeBob Pez release of this one as well. So that's 3 being added right there. So we've got a total of 7. And then this guy right here would bring us to 8, being that this is also a combination film between both the 2 movies that we just spent the first part of this video talking about. Obviously, you can see I love the SpongeBob movies, and when we get a Sponge on the Run, I will drop my opinion on that as well. I was gonna say it's not gonna be what you expect, but if you know me, you probably will know what to expect. Sponge Out of Water, I think we give that...
You had a B.
I'm gonna go ahead and agree. I think B tier is fair. I would give it an A tier just because, you know, financially Nickelodeon made a lot of money, but I also don't know how much it cost to make the movie. So let's go with B tier. Okay, so after this, we're gonna get into the VHSs. We're gonna go a little bit back in time so that way we can cover all the different stuff that's come out over time. But encapsulating pretty much a lot of this, you can pick up these discs right here. If I were a SpongeBob fan that didn't have addiction, a problem, a compulsion, you have any other words for that part?
A downright obsession.
I think it's not obsession. No, I didn't say downright, but damn, you can lay off a little. But if you just want to watch a lot of the episodes we're going to show here and a lot of the special features, pick up these 2 guys right here. This is the 100 episodes of SpongeBob, and then after that we've got the next 100 episodes of SpongeBob. If you're a total Gen 1er, you know, Pokemon reference, where you just love the first couple seasons of SpongeBob, this is your guy right here. It has all those classic episodes. It kind of ends around the Spongicus era. So I mean, you've got quite a lot of seasons there. And then over here, if you're more of a modern SpongeBob fan, this definitely carries you into those later 2000s episodes. Absolutely love both these discs. So we're gonna add both these in the collection as individuals. And this guy right here, we only have 1 copy of. We only have 1 copy of this as well. There is a dual pack that comes with both of these combined in 1 container. We do not have that, and I would love, absolutely love, if I could find the original release-al of this one right here. The original release of this one came in an acrylic protective case that slid out of an acrylic slider. there, so clean. I have not found it in the wild before, and if you try to look it up online, most of the images are gonna be of this one right here, and you wouldn't really know until you get it. Okay, so for first 100 episodes, I think this is a complete starter kit for anybody that's into SpongeBob. I gotta give this S tier.
S tier. Yeah, that's just all the best episodes in one package.
Then next we got the next 100 episodes, plus 4 actually, and I'm gonna go and give that S tier as well. And I know it may seem like we're giving a lot of S tiers right now, guys, but as we go through this, we've reviewed every single DVD. You'll see them change. These are just bangers at the start. Moving on, taking a little step back to the VHSs. Okay, so we've got a stack of VHSs that are in the collection. We're gonna be adding all of these to the screen, but the first one we've got right here is Deep Sea Sillies. And this one came out in 2003, and all the VHSs were released by Viacom/Paramount. And this features episodes like Just One Bite, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the first one, because you know that was a 2, 3, V4, like they have multiple episodes, but that's the first one. Tea at the Tree Dome, The Paper, and Born Again Crabs. So this is a classic look at so many different VHSs. I remember these ones and the Pokemon ones in my house, literally burning them into oblivion.
Right, same.
Yeah. I gotta say that the episode on this one that stands out the most for me is The Paper. Like, The Paper is such a perfect example of the world of SpongeBob and the whimsical beauty that is the world of Bikini Bottom. He took a piece of trash, a piece of paper, and they used silent film level timing to make the comedy absolutely perfect. They literally don't say a word the entire episode, and I think it's one of the episodes that stands out the most in kids' memories. Deep Sea Sillies, we gotta go ahead and give this one a C tier just because there's so much room to improve with the DVDs. Next up, we've got one of my favorites, the double-length feature, The Sponge Who Could Fly.
I mean, this is also the Lost episode, right?
Yes, it is the Lost episode, but now it is the Found episode right here. As Parker said, this episode was released with an actual special promotion with Patchy the Pirate, the Lost episode, and I will never forget sitting there, waiting for that great moment to come up and seeing the greatest walking sequence of all time. But this VHS features The Sponge Who Could Fly, the double-length feature as I said, Plankton, Boating School, and Suds. It's interesting because for me, when I think about A Sponge Who Could Fly, I almost feel like it's a very modern episode. It's not though, but it feels modern comparatively to Plankton, Boating School,
It's true.
and Suds. But it's 2003 when this was actually released.
Wow.
So I'm gonna go ahead and say that we're gonna give a B tier to A Sponge Who Could Fly. Next up we've got is Bikini Bottom Bash, and this one was released in 2003, and you'll see a theme here now at this point where some of the later VHSs, they were kind of themed around special double-length feature episodes. That way it was something a little bit special, something that you can get almost like a little film on the VHS along with accompanied episodes that kind of made sense with the vibe. And we see this kind of go on throughout every special for the rest of the SpongeBob media history. You will see them kind of pick a key episode they want to market around, and then the other episodes are kind of stuff that will give you a similar vibe or feel to that episode. This one features House Party, Hall Monitor, I Had an Accident, and one of my, you're gonna be surprised by this, one of my least favorite episodes of SpongeBob, and that is Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah, I hate Valentine's Day because I'm always alone. It's unrelated though. But not just that, Valentine's Day is one of my least favorite episodes just simply because of how ungrateful and selfish Patrick acts. But in my opinion, that episode really didn't look good on Patrick. I felt like he's being so stubborn and almost downright mean to SpongeBob about the fact that he didn't get him a Valentine's Day gift.
Oh yeah, just to kind of like threw it in his face.
Well, remember he was just on the ride the whole time just because all he gave him was a handshake? But the House Party episode, classic. It doesn't get more SpongeBob or more Tom Kenny than him getting kicked out of his own party.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and do a B tier for Bikini Bottom as we did with the other special featured VHSs. All right, next one we've got is Long, Tan, and Handsome, and that is Anchors Away. And this is from 2003 as well, featuring Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 2, The Chaperone, Bubble Buddy, Your Shoes Untied, and Pre-Hibernation Week. But this one, I gotta say, the key episode from this one is Mr. Long, Tan, and Handsome right here.
Oh yeah.
But like, honestly though, every day I wake up and I just think like, how could we all, as men, just stand here and act like we're okay when there's competition out there like Tiberius Rex?
Wow.
One for me that I actually, he helped me learn how to tie my shoes is the shoes untied.
Oh, it actually did.
I was 8. It took me a long time to learn how to tie my shoes. I had
You were
Velcro.
waiting for this episode.
I was waiting for it. I had Velcro shoes, so I never had to tie my shoes. And then one day they were like, oh, laces. All right, Anchors Away. We're gonna go ahead and give that a C tier just because of the fact that it's not based around a special. All right, the next up we have is the Sponge-O-Rama, and that has got Dumped on it. It's got Bossy Boots, The Bully, Sleepy Time, and Squidsville. This was released in 2003, and I gotta say of those key episodes we popped up on screen right there, for me, Dumped. That's the episode where Gary leaves SpongeBob
For the cookie and
for Patrick and the cookie. That cookie does look really good.
They always do.
The only cookie in that whole show that looks better than that one is SpongeBob's grandma.
Thanks, Grandma.
And Sponge-O-Rama, of course, we're gonna keep it consistent by giving this one a C as well, considering it does not center around a certain special, and there is the DVD available with way more to offer. All right, next one we've got up here is the Halloween VHS, and this one contains a bunch of spooky episodes. This was released in 2002, predating most of the ones we showed here. And that has Scaredy Pants, Imitation Crabs, Frankendoodle, I Was a Teenage Gary, and Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost.
Wow, what a roster. That is some bangers.
Best moment from all 5 of those episodes? All right, get in. When Patrick hit him with the coffin.
Oh yeah.
Okay, get in.
But I gotta say, of course, we gotta spend our time on the Halloween episode here. The Haunted Mattress. That was a treat enough.
I mean, also the first appearance of the Mr. Dutchman.
Yes, that's true. We do see the Flying Dutchman. Actually, his first time being the Halloween episodes, but we did see him earlier in that in Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, where they found a comic book showing you the origin of the Flying Dutchman. And that is not really the origin of the Flying Dutchman. We've had his origin re-explained about 3 different times. I've got a card game in here that has a completely different origin on the back from any of them. So you can kind of pick your origin for the Dutchman. It's like Spider-Man. Halloween is a classic, and it has the Halloween special, so of course we're giving that B tier, just like the rest of the VHSs. Next up being Sponge Buddies, released in 2002 as well, and that includes Jellyfishing, Die for Pie, Wormy, Fun, and Club SpongeBob. Talk about a rouster on these last 2.
Yeah.
These last 2 had amazing
Wow.
rousters of episodes. I gotta say, for me on that one, Club SpongeBob takes the cake. Club SpongeBob is absolutely incredible. You know, you get the magic conch shell.
Oh, that's gotta be number 1 for me too.
The only possible answer is no.
Okay, well, apparently not for her.
I think second up has to be Die for Pie. That's such an underrated episode.
But then I also think that Squidward learned a lot in that episode. Like, he learned a lot about his appreciation for SpongeBob, and I think it was a good example. Again, so many episodes, Squidward learned something, and I think that those are like the episodes where, as an adult, you see him develop. And as a kid, you're just like, oh man, look at this guy who thinks he's getting over on SpongeBob, or he's doing something to SpongeBob, but SpongeBob's unfazable. Like, that's how I saw it as a kid. You just get a whole different perspective. All right, is Club SpongeBob the best episode on this VHS?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
There you go.
This VHS and some of the other ones we're gonna go through, those are just compilations of episodes versus some that are special. So I think that these ones should fall under the C category, just because we still have so much room to work with. I mean, there's still D and F. We haven't given anything to that yet, so that's good. The next one here is the saddest episode of SpongeBob. Where is Gary? Have you seen this snail? Absolutely incredible episode, along with Lost Mattress, Crabs versus Plankton, and Good Neighbors. And a fun one about this is this was one of the last VHSs to be released, and that is from 2005.
Wow.
Yes, this was like towards the end where they were no longer really making as much VHSs, but they still have it. And the one that I have here as well is a promotional use one, which means it essentially skips all the commercials and goes straight to the actual episodes. And for Where's Gary, I think the last thing we talk about is Gary Come Home. Unbelievable. Probably the best song ever made for the SpongeBob film.
Please come home, cause I miss you, Gary.
Mark Stewart actually wrote the song. When Steven actually reached out to him to write the song, he told him that he wanted it to be really emotional, something that really, really hit home. And Mark Stewart said that he took that inch and he went a mile, and it became like an actual mission for him in a personal song. And still to this day, Mark Stewart, when he performs live, people request Gary Come Home.
Please come home, cause I miss you, Gary.
We're gonna go ahead and give this one the same treatment as the rest. We're gonna go give this one a B tier because it has that special episode. Okay, so now we are back and we are going into the DVD section here. So we're gonna be going through them similar fashion. We've got the first one I ever remember having as a kid, and this is Nautical Nonsense. But now that we've taken a dive into the DVDs versus the VHSs, DVDs, that's when we started getting special features. We started getting like audio commentaries, all types of stuff like that. The platform 4 wars were a real thing, but I mean, as nostalgic as I may be, DVDs got a lot of options. This came out in 2002 because, you know, the VHSs were kind of, you know, SpongeBob came out when DVDs were already getting popular, but you will see that the disc itself dons the classic green labeling fashion, which is a term that I actually coined on this channel and is now kind of used in the SpongeBob community, but just kind of want to reaffirm that history. But you'll see that it dons that classic green packaging, featured in many products like this guy right here, the Krusty Krab order book. And that is all because Nickelodeon does what are called style guides. Whenever a certain era of products come out, they want everything to kind of have the same vibe. So that this would fall under that as well. And also from the season 1 disc that we showed earlier, also having that same packaging. Episodes featured a Ripped Pants, SB129, Texas, The Graveyard Shift, Something Smells, Jellyfishing, Die for Pie, Wormy, Fun, and Club SpongeBob. So what you'll notice is another thing we got from DVDs versus this one is half of this disc is this whole one.
Yeah.
So on the disc it has many special features, including Violent Femmes singing SpongeBob SquarePants. I don't know what that even means. We'll find out right now. Backstage Pants featurette, more SpongeBob SquarePants secrets, and interactive and motion menus. Let's go ahead and check all that out on the DVD player. Okay, so Ryan's gonna have a visual representation on screen for you guys, but we have it in the SpongeBob Emerson TV right here. You guys can see we have the actual motion menu that they spoke of right here. This is really early on. You guys can see they just kind of have the clips from this show, you know, kind of with that water overlay. Very, very cool. Let's go ahead and check out the special features.
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants, absorbent and yellow and porous is he. SpongeBob SquarePants.
I'm not really too familiar with the band. Ryan's gonna pop up some more information after we do some research about Violent Femmes. All right, so let's check out Backstage Pants. When you click on the Backstage special feature, it actually opens this menu, which gives you a selection to integrate the backstage clips into the episodes, which is really crazy. Let's see if we can actually find any of those backstage clips within an episode.
But I thought you... But why I gotta...
Squidward, we already played Babble Like an Idiot.
Why are you still here?
All right, that was absolutely awesome. Seriously brilliant. You get to see masters at work there. Just a fun little note is the fact they were both in the same room together. So when you watch those iconic episodes as a child, you can know that the voice actors were right next to each other, laughing, having a great time, just as much as you are watching the show. Nowadays, when they do these type of things, everybody records from home, so there is a little bit of separation. So back in these days, it was very family oriented and they'd put them all together. That was awesome, right?
Oh, that was so cool to see.
You could watch them even without the animation. Roger Bumpus and Tom Kenny did such a great job that you could watch that out as its own show. Next one we got drawing characters.
I was drawing his basic construction first, lightly, which his eyes fall just above the midway on his face. He's got a little cheek.
So we're not going to go through the entire drawing of characters, but I just want to stop on it real quick to note that that guy's got a really nice watch.
Sure.
But besides that, if you check out in the top left corner of the screen there, you can actually see his character references. Those would be the different references they would use to see the characters, what they look like, where their spots are, where their clothing should lie on them. And they also have these right here, the animator mannequins as well. Mostly for the key characters, of course, but some of your background characters you can see right over there. For Nautical Nonsense, we're gonna give it B tier simply because of the fact that there is some bonus features on there, but it definitely could have used some work. But since it's one of the earliest ones in our first DVDs we received, we gotta at least put it somewhere higher up there as B tier. Next one we're adding up is Sea Stories. And you'll see this one right here is sealed. I do have this in the collection open somewhere, but I don't really know where it's at. So I'm gonna open this one. And the Sea Stories is not a particularly valuable DVD. Sea Stories, along with some of the DVDs of Halloween, the Christmas ones, you can actually order them through what a service now called Amazon Direct Print, which they literally print the DVD and the box as you order it. So as you order it, they make a new one. You order another one, they make some more. So you can pretty much have as many of them as you want. They cost about $5, but Sea Stories right here. The disc looks actually mighty fine, I cannot lie. Really, really beautiful disc there with the classic SpongeBob logo. The disc was originally released in 2002, and that contains Gary Takes a Bath, Hooky, Life of Crime, Pickles, No Free Rides, sailor mouth, no weenies allowed, jellyfish jam, and algae's always greener.
Jeez. I was thinking, okay. And then it just kept going. I'm like, dang.
Yeah. My favorite thing about the Sea Stories DVD though is that it comes with all 3 different endings to Shanghai. I mentioned it on the channel before, but if you're looking for all 3 different endings to Shanghai, you can get them right here on Sea Stories. And it's also got a SpongeBob Dancing Pants music video and some other stuff. We'll go ahead and throw this one in the DVD player, see what it's got to offer. Okay, so Ryan's put up the whole intro for Sea Stories on screen. Hardest intro into the disc.
Oh yeah.
We're hanging out on the Dutchman's freaking ship. When you're an early 2000s kid, these would sit on your TV for hours. But let's go ahead and select on the SpongeBob Dancing Pants music video. Usually these videos are a little bit hit or miss. They're a little bit, you know, weird, but they're always on there and they're always fun. Let's check it out.
I am now going to assault your mind with subliminal messages.
Alright, so it is basically a compilation of different episode scenes with the actual Jellyfish Jam music in the background. And like Parker said, some pop-up subliminal messaging saying, be happy, smile, all those things. I mean, if their subliminal messaging is real, then I want those ones. Alright, and video game hints and tips. Like, what video game? Flying Dutchman, hints and tips. Karate chop the belly bounce to defeat undersea danger. But I don't even think that this is footage that's in the game. This is pre-releasal footage. All the stuff you're seeing is before the game was even released. So that one, as it said, has tips and hints on Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, which was the first ever SpongeBob 3D open world style game that we got on screen right here. Revenge of the Flying Dutchman is not a lot of people's favorite game, but it is the core / bones for the amazing monster that is the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom video game. It even has a rehydrated version, so if we wouldn't have had that game, we wouldn't have gotten that game, so it's all good. But some of that is early game footage before the game was even released. Fun look at that stuff as well. Okay, Sea Stories, I think this one we gotta go ahead and put it B tier, just because of the fact that it doesn't have a lot of special features, but it is have all the endings for Shanghai. For a long time, this was the only way to watch those, so we gotta give this one at least a B tier, just because it really did deliver that exclusive content for a long time. The next one up we've got here is SpongeBob Goes Prehistoric, and this is from 2004, and this one has a double length feature episode as well, and that's Sponge BC. SpongeBob BC, we got the classic characters right there. We got Nature Pants, April Fools, I'm With Stupid, Patty Hype, Squid on Strike, The Great Snail Race, Plankton's Army, and Squilliam's Return. Classic episodes. For me, the key one on that one would gotta be Great Snail Race. Sure. For me, Great Snail Race was one of those episodes they did not play reruns that often of, so when you caught it, it almost felt like a new episode. But on here as well, it also contains the Battle for Bikini Bottom PC game demo, which Ryan's gonna pop up on screen right now. And on the inside of the disc, we have these promotional ads. This one right here is for some of these SpongeBob books you could pick up. And then on this side, we have some of the other DVDs, also some that are from Nickelodeon as well. Okay, so this one was a really tough one. If we were basing off of the special features alone, I would give this one a D tier. But because of the fact that it is centered around a double featured episode that is iconic, being SpongeBob BC, I think we should give this one an A as our first A tier disc so far. Just because I love that it's iconic. It's the one most of us grew up watching. And we got Caveman Squidward doing the thing, kind of. So like, A tier! The next one we've got here is the Seascapers, where we have our first appearance, it seems like, on these discs of Squidward almost doing the thing. But this contains one of my favorite episodes in all of SpongeBob, the Fry Cook Games!
Actually an iconic episode.
Amazing, amazing episode. You also have Bubble Stand, Squid's Day Off, SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, Pranks a Lot, Artist Unknown, Grandma's Kisses, Krusty Love, Crabborg, and the Smoking Peanuts.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable here. Do you remember the Smoking Peanut?
I do.
That was kind of a dark episode.
I don't know, like as a kid when I watched it, I'm like, did they commit this crime?
Yeah, you know, because you have brief episodes like that one, the Smoking Peanut, where SpongeBob actually throws a peanut at a clam while it's sleeping, just because he wants to, you know, get a little entertainment. He came all the way there just so he could see this clam, and it wasn't even doing anything. I can understand that. I can relate. I've been to the zoo before when there's just like the lions are in their den, you know, and they're sleeping. And you're like, okay, well, I kind of came here for the lion. But this one does have the Grandma's Kisses storyboard. Let's check that out in the DVD player.
I want to ride in my wagon. I want to cuddle waddle with Mr. Stuffy Kid.
kids.
So the next one up, we got Seascapers. This one literally only has Grandma's Kisses as a storyboard, which is kind of cool, but nonetheless, you'll see some of the discs we show later have way more to offer. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one our first D tier. D tier is not bad, everything on our tier system that I'd love, but we're just comparing it to the other discs that have released. We're gonna go ahead and give this a D tier because all it has on there to offer you really is the fact that it has the Fry Cook games on there, which again, earlier, we've got discs now that are released that have that included. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one on D tier. All right, so moving on to our next disc, that is gonna be Absorbing Favorites. This was released in 2005, and this one has a myriad of episodes from a variety of different discs, and it's simply a compilation of multiple of the favorite episodes in the series thus far. So we got Rip Pants, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, Karate Choppers, Gary Takes a Bath, Jellyfish Hunter, The Fry Cook Games, Club Spongebob, Plankton's Army, and a Lost Episode. So continuing on now, we have Home Sweet Pineapple, and this was released in 2005. And this one's got episodes like, of course, Home Sweet Pineapple, Band Geeks, Sandy and SpongeBob and the Worm, Rip Pants, Sandy's Rocket, Culture Shock, Muscle Bob Buff Pants, and Employee of the Month. I gotta say, for this disc, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Home Sweet Pineapple. This is a great cozy one to watch. It even says, just cozy up with these seaworthy stories. I mean, you know, subliminal branding works really well on me. I'm already got a blanket covering me, you know? So that's perfect. Let's go ahead and throw Home Sweet Pineapple into the DVD player though, because it has cast bios from the book, Exposing SpongeBob. So it looks like it's not video based. It actually just has this dialogue we can read and check out, but it has like cards, profiles for each character, which is perfect. You know, SpongeBob and Pokemon did a great job of like getting you interested and involved in the world really, really early, so that way you understood the show as you're watching it. All right, so it's Home Sweet Pineapple. We are gonna give it a D ranking because it did have that little expose book, which was kind of cool. We got to see Squidward doing the thing, but if this was a later disc, I would be giving it an F tier because it has nothing besides that and a couple compilations of episodes. But because it's a classic SpongeBob disc, we're gonna give it a D tier at least, just for the love and the nostalgia. But if we're being realistic on what it offers, definitely lower rank. Next up, we got Sponge for Hire, which I actually have sealed. And I thought I had seen another variation of this disc, but it turns out in the UK, for whatever reason, they changed the cover of the disc. Not 100% sure why. The episodes include Krusty Krab training video, Can You Spare a Dime, Missing Identity, Krabby Land, Wet Painters, New Student Starfish, Midlife Crustaceans, and also the camping episode. I gotta say my favorite episodes on this one has gotta be Midlife Crustaceans, just because that's one of the few that's actually banned.
Banned?
Yeah, that
Really?
episode, if you look for it on Paramount Plus, they do not have Midlife Crustaceans just because of the weird situation with Mr. Krabs and his own mother's panties being raided. Moving on. Only things we got on here though is the Nick Recipes ROM, which I don't even know what that is, and I don't even know if my computer would handle that, but I'm gonna try and see if we can find it. We'll put it up on screen now. Storyboards including Missing Identity.
Thanks.
I lost something once. I lost something I couldn't live without. My identity.
And Wet Painters.
Wait, SpongeBob! We're not cavemen! We have technology.
Sponge for Hire, you get the Nick Recipes and you get 4 storyboards, kind of loaded. I mean, the storyboards are interesting, but I really love that behind the scenes stuff. I gotta go see.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Sponge for Hire, see on the screen. Okay, so now I saved both these DVDs because we already talked about one of them in the VHS section, and that is the Halloween and Christmas specials. We have the SpongeBob Christmas and also the SpongeBob Halloween. But obviously the VHS didn't come with these special features, so I wanted to see like, oh, what did they do with the fact now it moved to DVD? What is the special features they added? We got the Scaredy Pants music video, which you've already heard of this channel before. You know, another one of those songs, not bad, just probably not really trendy these days.
Absorbent and yellow and spooky as he.
And then they had the video game sneak peek and an interactive menu. So they didn't really add too much from the Halloween one that was different, but this was also from 2002, so that could have been why. But the Christmas one, I'm very interested because it has a storyboard for the Christmas episode.
Santa's coming tonight. Santa's coming tonight.
But not just that, it's also got an audio commentary. I don't know who the audio commentary is from. I would love to find out that it's actually commentary of the classic Christmas episode, you know? That's one of my favorite episodes. I watch it every single Christmas. So to be able to have another variation of it to watch would be fantastic. Throw it in there and check it out. Okay, so this one's got a really beautiful opening menu for the actual disc. But I think it's interesting, you can hear SpongeBob yelling, but they kind of muted it or played it in reverse. I don't really know what it's doing, but listen. That's an interesting detail.
I think that's just chatter.
Yeah, but it's an interesting detail rather than just having him silently moving his mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and check out special features. And so it is an audio commentary for Christmas Who. Let's go ahead and click on and find out who's doing it.
This is when we were still clinging to the conceit that Patchy had a wooden leg, and he used it sometimes. After a while, that just got too hard to do.
So there's your explanation for what happened to Patchy's leg. That is an online conspiracy, actually, of like what happened to him not having his leg. And then all of a sudden he has his leg again. Now you see him in freaking Big Time Rush walking around the beach. But there you go. It just got too difficult to film with. Awesome commentary. Can't wait to watch more of it. Okay, so now that we've gotten to the Halloween disc, I think we have to give this one A tier. The only reason I'm gonna say that was because the Halloween episode is so iconic and such a staple of what you need. This is the best version being the disc rather than the VHS. So we give the VHS a B. And these are our rankings, so keep that in mind, guys. But the next one up we've got here is Christmas. And this one had the audio commentary with Steven Hillenburg, which for me automatically puts this one in S tier. Steven. It's one of the best episodes in SpongeBob history, and it's one of the few episodes where even if somebody doesn't know about SpongeBob that much, even if they just know his name, they probably have seen this episode around the Christmas time on TV. So we're gonna give this one S tier for Steven Hillenburg in honor of him. Gotta give that one S tier. So the next disc up is Tales from the Deep. Again, we're adding all these to the counter as we go. So this actually contains all the episodes that we already featured in both of these VHSs right here, and that is the Deep Sea Sillies and also Bikini Bottom Bash. But again, with the DVD, it's the only way you get these special features, which in this one included Underwater Sun music video.
Come with me to the land I love. It's like right here down the street or up above.
And also Drawing Goo Lagoon. That's gotta be awesome.
And of course the clouds.
SpongeBob's Party House storyboard.
The Plan Your Own Party Kit encourages creativity when stuffing your piñata.
But that's actually it. I noticed that a lot of the ones that have VHSs have more minimal special features. I think that's due to the fact that maybe people not wanting to like get people not to buy the VHSs. They wanted to kind of like make it an even ground, but then we also still had to get you something special for getting the DVD. Okay, so this one is Lost at Sea, and that again contains two of our VHSs we already featured, and that is The Sponge Who Could Fly and Anchors Away. So we've already covered all the episodes on those ones, but it also comes with an audio commentary of The Sponge Who Could Fly and also the storyboard to the same episode.
Present the lost episode from Encino, California, Patchy the Pirate!
And SpongeBob 7 Life Strategies.
Number 1, setting boundaries.
Don't touch me, I'm sterile.
Number 2, reverence.
Wow, a golden spatula.
Those are all definitely things I want to do as well. That was awesome. Tune in for more SpongeBob 7 Life Strategies. I'm pretty sure that they actually used those as bumpers in between other shows because I can, for some reason, fairly briefly remember them, along with the zodiac signs with Squidward.
Say happy birthday to Taurus the Bull. Taurus is the most clumsy and oafish of all zodiac signs.
But I don't think we ever got the zodiac signs on a disc. Awesome piece to add to the collection, and I'm even learning some more about these discs, considering that I usually watched all the episodes on a different streaming service wherever they were available, or in the first 200 episode disc, which don't contain all the features in these discs. So hopefully this video serves as a great example of all the different content that we've been missing out on all these individual discs. Alright guys, so we decided I'm gonna go ahead and go with the D. Parker gave this one a C. I'm actually the one giving it a D though, only because this is a compilation of two of the VHSs that we featured earlier in this episode, being Deep Sea Sillies and also Bikini Bottom Bubble Bash. Doesn't have a lot of special features. We're giving it D tier. Okay, so now we are transitioning to where I think is the cutoff for most of the original SpongeBob fans. I know that you can remember Lost in Time, right?
I do remember Lost in Time.
Yes, and I do as well, but I do think I remember as a kid at that time, I would have been about 11, 12. I remember that was the kind of the age where other people are starting to phase into other stuff while I still was, into SpongeBob. But this is a special feature episode, a two-part, of course. It was the first box that I think included the white box cover, and they did not stick with this for very long. They only did it for a couple other discs besides this one. And as we go through these discs, you will notice from 2005 to 2008, the features are a hit or a miss if they have any special features, but once you get to about 2009, it's some kind of weird cutoff. Me and Parker were discussing it could have been because of the recession, maybe they were just trying to lean the business out, but then they kind of make a resurgence as we got into the streaming era when them trying to compete with streaming by being able to have special features. So it's like a backward forward, but the only people that are getting hurt is us as the consumers. We're just confused on what we should buy. That's why I'm here to figure out which disc have them. Right here though, we have the Lost in Time, and this one contains Dragons, Dungeons and Dragons, Selling Out, Funny Pants, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boys 6, Enemy in Law, and also Patrick Smart Pants. But this one has a really interesting special feature, and that is the SpongeBob Medieval Moments jousting game. So Ryan's gonna put some footage on screen of that one. We've already played that here in the channel when we picked up the Lost in Time disc. But that's the only special feature that they contain on this entire disc. No commentaries, no anything. And Lost in Time was a very promoted series, even also giving us an entire feature of Burger King toys of 24. So for them to only have that as a special feature is kind of ridiculous. And I know ridiculous. But that's it for that one. So then we went to our next white box, which was Whale of a Birthday Party. And you'll see they kind of got rid of the white box after this one. So we have Whale of a Birthday Party, and this is the classic Sweet 16 of Pearl. And that contains all that glitters. Whale of a Birthday, Once Bitten, Chimps Ahoy, Bummer Vacation, Wig Struck, and That's No Lady. I would bet money that you don't even know about Chimps Ahoy.
Chimps Ahoy?
Yeah.
I know everything about Chimps Ahoy.
Do you know that Sandy's bosses are actually monkeys?
Well, I'm glad I didn't bet money because I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is a lot of people, like I said, kind of cut off right when we get to this white box era. That's why I think when a lot of the OG fans of SpongeBob kind of started to change a little bit, and this show itself started to change. Whether that be for the better or for worse, depending on everybody's opinion. But on this one, again, we did get special features, but it's along the same sense of stuff that was already created. They just kind of put on the disc, and that is Nick Extra, Your Brain on SpongeBob. This might be our first one to get an F tier. And the only reason why is it's got the Your Brain on SpongeBob, which we've already seen in different things on another disc, I believe, and also on Nickelodeon itself, and an arcade game Trial. Not the best, definitely could have supplied better. And they also used a weird white box, and I dropped it, so that's even lower. Okay, so after we moved all the way from the white box disc, apparently that was not working out, and I gotta agree, I do not like these ones. But besides that, they moved over to the black box right here with Atlantis Squarepants, an absolute banger. Most people have not seen this actual special, but most people will say, oh yeah, I hate that one. That one sucks. That one's garbage. It's trash. The only people that don't like Atlantis Squarepants haven't seen it. Atlantis Squarepants is an awesome episode, and it's also got, you know, freaking icon, RIP, always forever in our hearts, David Bowie, freaking literally like one of the most legendary dudes of all time. We got Atlantis Squarepants on here. We've got Money Talks. We've got SpongeBob versus the Patty Gadget, Slimy Dancing, The Krusty Sponge, Sing a Song of Patrick, and Picture Day. Alright, so all of these episodes are absolutely amazing. We got Atlantis Squarepants on the screen right now. The world they built for Atlantis is beautiful, so much so that they even brought it into the newest Nick Kart Racer video game, along with it actually having its own video game series as well. Maybe not being one of the best games they've ever made, but nonetheless, they made it. So the special features included inside of the SpongeBob Animation Studios.
Welcome to South Korea, home of tall buildings, beautiful waterways, fast sunsets, but most importantly, Nick Korea and Rough Draft Studios.
And it's got the making of Atlantis Squarepants, which is awesome because we did not see that with Lost in Time or some of the other ones. We didn't see a making of, so they kind of brought it back when we got to these black boxes again.
An exclusive look at how the SpongeBob Atlantis Squarepants special was made.
This is the most exciting thing to ever happen in the history of history.
Okay, so this one right here is Atlantis Squarepants, and it's gonna be another one that gets an S tier for SpongeBob. We're gonna have a lot of S tiers on here, but that's because obviously I'm a SpongeBob fan. You guys know that. But this one has a full-length featurette to go along with the episode. Whether you like Atlantis Squarepants or not, comparatively to some of the other discs we just showed, like To Love a Patty, you're getting a lot for the disc there. I gotta give this one S tier. So the next up we have is To Love a Patty, and this released in 2007 and contains the episodes To Love a Patty, A Flea in Her Dome, Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob, Le Big Switch, The Donut of Shame, Blackjack, and also Blackened Sponge. An awesome set there. I gotta say, for me, A Flea in Her Dome was a disgusting episode. Did you see that one?
I gotta be honest, like, none of these are really like hitting it for me.
Our man behind the camera here, Parker, is a good example because he's a SpongeBob fan, maybe not so detrimentally, but he has not seen these later episodes. And I mean, I felt like at some point we were gonna hit that point where you didn't remember him. On this one, for me, my least favorite's gotta be A Flea in Her Dome. That episode is hard to watch. It makes me itchy just thinking about that episode. But on here as well, we got the original animatic for To Love a Patty.
There's my Krabby Patty.
Right here, muzzle boy.
And then they've also got a karaoke music video. That's all we got for To Love a Patty. I'll never forget this one coming out. I think it was like a summertime, and I had this disc, and I just literally the entire summer, this was one of the discs that I had on repeat. And Squidward's over here, he's like, I should be on stage doing the thing. To Love a Patty, I gotta go ahead and say that this one is also C tier. All it has on there is an animatic and a karaoke music video, and a maybe B rank list of episodes. But then we have Friend or Foe right here, a classic episode that displays the history between Mr. Krabs and Plankton, which is kind of reworked a little bit in Camp Coral, but we're not going to talk about Camp Coral today, except for one point where we review the disc for season 1, but wait for that. We have the original Fry Cook. You've seen that one here, but would you see before that?
I'm not sure.
We have the original Fry Cook, we have Nightlight, we have Rise and Shine, Waiting, Fungus Among Us, which is one of many people's least favorite episodes of SpongeBob because of how gross it is. And then last we have Spy Buddies. Fungus Among Us, I know you've seen this entire disc because I put this disc onto the background. As a little bit of a homework, I turned on SpongeBob episodes in the background. It's kind of fresh on the mind when we talk about it and stuff like that. And I gotta say that episode, that ending.
I was so surprised that they did that. Like, this was a whole episode. They made that
His eyes were like this. And on here we've got the original animatic to Friend or Foe.
But Stinkies had been shut down by order of the health department.
And we got a Plankton and Mr. Krabs photo gallery. Let's go ahead and check out some of those photos, and we'll move on to our next disc here. All right, then next up, what do we've got? We've got Rag Boy at the birthday. This is actually an episode. This is a moment from the episode as well. Okay, and then we've got them playing baseball together. I love how they found Rags even for his uniform. Okay, we got Mr. Krabs and Baby Plankton on Mystery or any of the horses from Bikini Bottom, but we don't know how old Mystery is. That could be Mystery. We got them at the roller rink. Alright, so that is actually it for that one. Just wanted to check them out. And also, piece they didn't have to add in the disc, but awesome to see those pictures in the gallery. Alright, Friend or Foe, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a D, just because half the episodes on here aren't my top favorite ones for sure. And not just that, there's really no special features on here besides a photo gallery. Considering how big of a promotion Friend or Foe was, I would have expected them to do a lot more on the disc, so this one is getting C tier. Next one we have here is the big one, which released in 2009 and also contains another voice appearance like we did in Atlantis Squarepants featuring Johnny Depp as Johnny Kahuna Laguna. Every episode on here kind of pertains to the beach. It's got SpongeBob SquarePants in the big one, A Day in the Life, Sun-Bleached, Giant Squidward, No Nose Nose, Caddy Paper, and Plankton's Regular. Did you remember Plankton's Regular? That one's hilarious. Where Plankton gets a regular customer that actually likes his food. He's just like, wow! He starts thinking of himself so highly. That's a standout one for me. But we have this one sealed in the collection. We have it open as well too. But we've already featured this one on the channel before. We have Plankton's special sinister commentary.
Krabs!
Oh, how I hate you. Boy, I'm glad he can't hear me, because if he could, I'd give him a piece of my mind, brother.
That was a grade A commentary, one of my favorite ones, absolutely hilarious. It was voiced over by Doug Lawrence. He did an amazing job as Plankton over those scenes. Riding the Hook music video, and then that's actually it for this one. Another one of those crazy music videos, but they really tried to shove those in as many discs as they could, it seems like. Okay, and for the big one, we are gonna give this one A tier, only being because of Plankton's special sinister commentary. He literally saved this disc. The big one is definitely an awesome episode, but I mean, when you compare it to specials like Fiend or Foe, Atlantis Squarepants even, big one is a lesser memorable episode other than Johnny Depp and his like 6 lines of dialogue they got him to do. So let's go ahead and give that one an A tier just because of Plankton's commentary. Then the next one we've got following that is 10 Happiest Moments. The SpongeBob 10 Happiest Moments is very similar to the previously released Absorbing Favorites, and it has some of the best moments that I guess whoever made this disc decided. I don't know if there was a voting system for this. I know for the previous compilation disc, it was based off of the airing. I don't necessarily know what distincts these as the 10 Happiest Moments, but we've got episodes like Tea at the Tree Dome, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, Culture Shock, Karate Choppers, The Algae's Always Greener, Just One Bite, Graveyard Shift, No Weenies Allowed, Roller Cowards, and finishing off with Christmas Who. This is an amazing set of episodes, but I feel like this one is a very random compilation kind of.
Yeah.
Christmas Who, I don't think deserved to even be on a disc considering it's had many releases of the original Christmas disc. But nonetheless, we have this one in the collection. It's not one of our cleanest copies for a reason probably. But the only special feature we got on this was Help Wanted, which is not that great of a special features now, because later we're gonna feature an episode about the SpongeBob pilots, and which came out was the only way to watch the pilot, along with this guy right here, which also has the pilot as well. But before those two releases, this was the easiest way to find that pilot. So it was holding its ground with that for a long time, but now the fact that you can get that pilot in many different ways, I gotta say this one's definitely bottom tier for me. But we got 10 happiest moments. And I think we could agree both. This is F tier. It's just literally 10 episodes of SpongeBob, and then
that like you have on other discs.
Absolutely. And then not just that, it's got the Help Wanted pilot, which we can get multiple other places. F tier. And then next up we have Spongebob. And honestly, this is for me even when I've watched these episodes, but when I was a kid, I really didn't know the difference between Spongebob and Lost in Time. So I saw Spongebob all the time. I was like, oh, it must be the Lost in Time episode. But no, it is off of the Roman period, not the medieval period. It has Spongebob on there, Suction Cup Symphony, House Fancy, Krabby Road, Penny Foolish, Nautical Novice, Not Normal, and Gone. It's interesting how I know there's many episodes that you may have not seen, Parker Behind the Camera may have not seen, but I know there's certain episodes between them that all of us have seen. Like, I know you've seen Not Normal.
Maybe I can't relate the title to the actual what happens, you know what I mean?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, yeah. What? Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. You missed multiple episodes of the disc that we just showed, but this just shows you how strong and powerful the branding of SpongeBob is. When they have a special or they have something they pitch well enough, even if you are out of the show for a bit, they still brought you in with that humor. And on this one, we've got an animation gallery with a storyboard of the episode itself, and we have some character art. But like I said, we were hitting that 2009 era where they started to kind of put a little bit less of the features in, simply because, like I said, they were kind of seeing DVD sales kind of dip, so the money being put into it probably wasn't necessarily the first priority. Spongebob, we are giving a D. Got a couple of those, you know, dark era episodes of SpongeBob on there. Not just that, not very many features to be spoken of at all. Definitely D tier. So this one is Legends of Bikini Bottom. It was released in 2010. It doesn't actually have all the titles on screen right here, so we're gonna have them pop up on screen right here. But in this episode, they go and they try to find a drain that essentially could destroy the entire town and suck up the ocean. So it's got multiple of those episodes on here, but its special features does not contain much. It's got behind the scenes of Legend of Bikini Bottom and some animated shorts. Let's go ahead and check those out and see if there's anything that we would deem special feature worthy.
Things to do when encountering a legendary creature.
Hi, Patrick. What you reading?
Bikini Bottom Legends. It's a chapter called Things to Do When Encountering a Legendary Creature.
All right, Legend of Bikini Bottom, we are giving A tier strictly because if we're keeping consistent with our rankings so far, it does have a behind-the-scene featurette for the film. It does have animated shorts, but Legends of Bikini Bottom, all of these episodes, I feel like comparatively to, again, some of the series we've seen, I can't give it S tier, but we're gonna give it A tier. Next up, we've got Viking Size Adventures, which contains the episodes Dear Vikings, Ditchin', Pineapple Fever, Chum Caverns, Grandpappy the Pirate, Cephalopod Lodge, Shuffleboarding, and Professor Squidward. And this one only contains, again, we're seeing that die down of special features as I mentioned, only a animation art gallery from some of the storyboard panels from this episode. Viking Size Adventure, another one getting a D tier. I think it's for obvious reasons, and also no special features besides a small art gallery. Next up, we got Heroes of Bikini Bottom, which is the compilation of many of the hero-based episodes, whether it be Fry Boy or Mermaid Man. We got Back to the Past. We've got The Bad Guys Club for villains. We've got Keep Bikini Bottom Beautiful, A Pail for Gary, Yours, Mine, and Mine, Tracked Crabs, A Day Without Tears, and Summer Job. This one contains animated short, and I don't know if this is like a bonus or do you consider this promotion a full episode of Tough Puppy?
That's definitely not a bonus. He didn't buy it for Tough Puppy.
But I gotta say, it's kind of a bonus actually though, because it didn't take any episodes away from you. It's still the same amount of episodes you'd get on the rest of the disc. It just includes that episode of Tough Puppy. So I'll give it some points for that when we rank it. But for sure, we gotta check out those animated shorts.
Patrick, with this time machine, we can go back to the past and make our young selves wiser.
That's difficult to imagine, but I'd like to see us try.
Word it up, little fella. I am so proud of him. Okay, your turn, Patrick.
All right, so Heroes for Bikini Bottom, we're gonna go ahead and give it a B just for the same reason that we did for Triton's Revenge. It's because of the fact it's got animated shorts on there and a full episode of a cartoon. Seemed like that's what they were kind of trying to do to kind of fill in the blanks for that special feature slot, but still would have rather had the special feature, still getting a B. Next we have up, it's Triton's Revenge. This was released in 2010 as well, and this contains Sandcastles in the Sand, Shell Shock, Chum Bucket Supreme, Single Cell Anniversary, Tentacle Vision, and I Heart Dancing, including also Clash of Triton shorts. And again, they coughed out with no bonus anything besides a complete episode of Fanboy and Chum Chum.
Wow.
Which was one of God's more underdeveloped creations. Let's just say that. I like Fanboy and Chum Chum, but a lot of people aren't huge fans of it, but I think they were really trying to push it hard by putting it inside of one of the SpongeBob discs. And then Triton's Revenge, we were gonna give it a B. I was gonna give it a C just because it's got some stuff on there with the Clash of Triton shorts we showed, but because it has that Fanboy and Chum Chum episode, I gotta give it a B. All right, following that, adding it to the counter, we've got Ghouls Fools. This is released in 2011, and it has The Curse of Bikini Bottom, Ghost Host, Born Again Crabs, ARG, Your Shoes Untied, and Money Talk. The first episodes make sense, but the last two were kind of like, oh, we gotta fill it in somehow. So they added in Shoes Tied and Money Talks. Classic from that one's gotta be ARG, of course, where Mr. Krabs puts Patrick and SpongeBob to work trying to find the Dutchman's treasure. But again, another disc that contains absolutely zero special features. You get your, actually, only 7 episodes comparatively to the 8 that you get on these ones because you get the double feature episode. So you get really a lot less with this Ghouls Fool disc. But we did get to meet Lord Poltergeist in the Ghouls Fools episode itself. But either way, a cool one to add to the collection. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and give a C to Ghouls Fool just because I'm a Flying Dutchman fan, and not just that, it does have a double length feature, but other than that, it probably would have got a lower ranking because there's nothing on this besides that. So the next ones we're not going to spend too much time on at all, and that is because we have the Christmas and Halloween ones that have been released in 2011, 2015, 2017, 2019. They just keep re-releasing these same discs, but I think both of these were printed in 2009, and we've had these exact same covers since then. But these have many iterations, so we're not going to spend too much time on them. They're exact same disc we checked out earlier today. No special features added. Nothing that stands out between the two, other than the covers themselves. So adding 2 to the counter, let's move on to the next one. And on the topic of holiday, we got our first ever SpongeBob stop motion film, which I don't believe was fully stop motion, it was partial, but either way, absolutely beautiful. Another one of my Christmas classics that I add to the SpongeBob. I mean, obviously we always have to give credit. The first ever Christmas SpongeBob episode, we have to give it credit because it was the original. I'm not gonna lie, man, I think I kind of like this one better.
Really?
Yeah, because for me, it has SpongeBob, but it ties back so closely to all of the stop motion shows that you're seeing on screen right here from my childhood. So this really puts me in that Christmas vibe more than anything else. And then to incorporate something I love like SpongeBob into it, absolutely awesome, and I recommend it. We've got behind the scenes features.
Consider this mind-boggling fact. It takes them an entire day to make just 5 seconds of moving video. Characters are moved a hair at a time by hand.
We have animatics, a Yule log.
Do you even know how to get to the North Pole?
Oh, Potty, you silly parrot! Everybody knows that the directions to the North Pole are right in the lyrics of the song Jingle Bells.
And it's got 2 MP3 compatible songs, which means you could have downloaded the songs off of the DVD into your computer and then added it to your computer.
I will trap Santa in my box, locked up like Fort Knox, and make him stop the clocks.
Okay, and I mean, we without a doubt are giving this an S tier, because I mean, when you just compare the labor that went into a typical episode of SpongeBob to a stop motion feature of it, has to give it S tier for that. A beautiful world they created in stop motion, and not just that, it has a whole behind the scenes featurette. S tier all day. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, and that is Karate, the Extreme Karate disc right here with Squid Defense, The Way of the Sponge, House Sitting for Sandy, The Krabby Patty That Ate Bikini Bottom, Extreme Spots, Squirrel Record, Freeze Face, and Demolition Doofus. There's no bonus features on this one whatsoever, so let's just talk about a standout episode, and I think that's gotta be Squid Defense, where Squidward mercilessly beat the hell out of a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it only makes sense. The man with the most arm would be the best at Kung Fu. There he is back there doing his karate as well. Absolutely awesome. But too bad they didn't put any bonus features on this one. Moving on to the next one. Alright, Extreme Karate, we were given a D. Just a simple compilation of other episodes, but again, no special features. Next up, we've got the Pilots mini movie shorts. There's no way we could show... I gotta go.
What?
It's got a call from my organization.
What organization? We don't have an organization.
I got a meeting with Lemons. There's absolutely no way we can show you all the minis on this one, but this is seriously, as a SpongeBob fan or collector, this is one of the ones you want the most. If you're just looking for SpongeBob episodes to watch, I would pick any of the discs that you see in this video besides this one, because it is 44 shorts that are about like 15 to 30 seconds. So the whole disc, I think, is like maybe 30, 40 minutes, and then you've got the pilot episode on there, which you can also get from this guy right here and the other discs that I featured earlier. So definitely just something for the collectors. If somebody who wants to have a little bit of completionism when it comes to the minis and some of the other small things they've released on Nickelodeon, but an awesome disc nonetheless, and this was released in 2015. We are working our way towards the end, guys. I mean, this is probably one of the most expensive and also expensive looks at the DVDs for SpongeBob. And if you guys want to see any of the ones that are missing in between, just subscribe to the channel. You guys know we're trying to create the world's biggest SpongeBob collection, so inevitably we will get those other discs that we're missing and we'll feature them as we pick them up. Okay, and for this one, we're gonna give it an A. It does not have a lot of content, but every single thing on here is pretty much exclusive content. So just for the fact of the collectability aspect, we gotta give it an A. Next up, we got The Adventures of SpongeBob SquarePants, and this was released in 2015. And this one is a simple one. It has all of the numbers, the complete episodes in order of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Classic.
You can't beat
they had that in the making.
Yeah, they had that in the making to make that a full disc, and they did it right here. So you can watch all the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes in one disc, and this contains no special features. It would have been absolutely awesome if they would have had Ernest Borgnine or any of the people that actually were in that early episode of Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy that, you know, have passed since. It would have been really awesome if they could have had some kind of tribute to him. Maybe there is. I don't think so, because not in the special features for sure. So we're going to keep this guy sealed in the collection. So, but an awesome one to add and to the counter. All right, we got another C, and that is The Adventure of SpongeBob SquarePants, only because of the fact there's no special features yet again. We're only putting it at a C because of the fact that it is such a good compilation to watch all those Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes. Easy pop-in disc, we're giving it a C. Okay, we are coming towards the end here. The next up, we've got The Legend of Bikini Bottom right here, which was the next stop motion film that we got that was released in 2017. But this disc was released in 2018. And The Legend of Bikini Bottom is another classic. I don't think stop motion is quintessentially known with Halloween, right?
Kind of with the whole like Jack Skellington thing, right?
Yeah, I guess
Burton?
really it's just the Tim Burton stuff. You're right.
Yeah.
That is a good example. They decided to make one for Halloween, and I'm not complaining at all. They had all the materials there. They had the figures. They had a lot of pieces to work with, the sets, and somebody who already created a perfect version of a stop motion SpongeBob. So why not extend it further with this one? A great film nonetheless as well, and includes the behind the scenes featurette.
So I've been working on this scene. It's about 5 minutes long for about 2 months.
Then next up, we got Legend of Bikini Bottom. Same system. We're giving this an S based off of the effort involved and not just that, the behind the scenes featurette. Easy S on the board. Next one we've got up here is the SpongeBob musical live on stage. Adding that to our numbers. I have not seen this performance live. I would love to one day. It would be so awesome. But we do have it in the collection, and it has no special features either, except for a small photo gallery. Will pop up right now. But it does have an extended sing-along version for the disc, which is kind of cool. But if you haven't seen the live play before, all of the actors portray the characters perfectly. And I gotta say, I hope one day they get rid of those Gary. They roll it on the screen, and one day we can get one in the collection. That would be awesome.
I want to see Squidward doing the thing live.
I'm sure he has. I think Ryan even said he's seen him do it live before, but we don't know. We'll have to find out. The SpongeBob musical live on stage. This is gonna be a tough one because it's different from the rest. I gotta say, it has only extended sing-along version, and that's about it as far as exclusives. I'm thinking B tier.
Yeah, I was thinking B.
Okay, so B tier on screen, just because of the fact that if you didn't get to see the show live, you have a way to watch it. But at the same time, as soon as they made the live show, we already knew they were gonna make a DVD to way of profit on it somehow. So that's a given, but because it exists, B. As you guys can see, we're getting very, very close here to the current day. And this one right here is the Sponge on the Run film, and I really have to get another version for this other than the Valentine's Day one. I didn't realize I didn't have the film besides this one, but nonetheless, we do have it, and this one includes a mini movie.
All right, Gadget, let's see your fastball.
Okay.
deleted storyboard scenes, a sing-along, which we seem to get many of them now, arts and crafts, and more, which Ryan will pop up on screen. We're not even gonna open this disc right now because this is the Valentine's Day copy, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it just like this. If we get our more cheaper $5 copy they released at Walmart, we'll open that one up. And a lot of people didn't really like Sponge on the Run anyway. I know Snoop Dogg did. Okay, so we're gonna give this one an A, and that is Sponge on the Run. I gotta give them some points for really trying to load up the DVD. They got a mini movie, deleted scenes, a sing-along, arts and crafts. We didn't spend too much time on showing that stuff strictly because this is not really a very popularly liked film. So that's also why it didn't get S tier. So it is gonna get an A rank on the board. Moving it on here, we have one of my favorites, even though it's not actually open here, it's upside down, and that is Bikini Bottom Bash. But it's interesting, didn't we have a Bikini Bottom Bash in the past? Go ahead and check that out.
Yeah.
When we picked this disc up, I was like, why is everything always like, you know, Bubble Bash, Berry Bash? And I said, I'm pretty sure they've released a product that was already called Bikini Bottom Bash, and boom, there it is. This is essentially the sequel to the Bikini Bottom Bash, which is so cool, because it does have some similar episodes, including, of course, the house party episode. For this disc right here, they were celebrating SpongeBob's 25th anniversary. So many different celebrities got to say thank you, and also happy birthday to SpongeBob. And again, no special features. You noticing a trend here?
Nothing.
Yeah, because I mean, DVDs are kind of, you know, one of those things they're trying to work out. Like I said, there was this little stint of time where they were trying. They were like, oh, well, you know, streaming's coming up. Let's put some bonus features that'll give people. They were like, we can't win. Make Paramount Plus and just put out what we got. Next up, we got the Bikini Bottom Bash. This is a tough one because it no special features, but it contains one of the biggest episodes of SpongeBob history. I'm thinking we give it the same treatment we did the movie, A rank, but for different reasons. This one we gave it for the features. This one we're giving it for the content.
Yeah.
So A rank on the board for Bikini Bottom Bubble Bash. This is Camp Coral, The Under Years. They do play the show on Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. now. It has the Jellyfish Kid, Sugar Squeeze, Tag You're It, Quest for the Tire, Cabin of Curiosity, In Search of Camp Nudist, Kitchen Sponge, The Treasure of Camp Coral, Camper Gary, Night Snack Attack, Hot Pearl Tattoo, What About Meep, Hard Time Out, Pat's A Little Stinker, Camp SpongeBob, Queasery, Game Night, My Fair Nobby, Gimme a New Break, Wisecrackin', Sasquatch Swap, A Ho Ho Horror, Outhouse Outrage, and Are You Afraid of the Dork? I love that last episode title. A reference to another Nickelodeon show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Absolutely love it, because it's a camping show. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, You're Afraid of the Dark?
References. Parker didn't get it, but I just wanted to give him a moment. But this came out in 2021, obviously being that Camp Coral just came out on Paramount Plus. But my only problem with this, comparatively to all the discs we went through, I don't really mind them not putting special features on certain discs like this, because they came with episodes that were, you know, kind of special already. Not just that, you know, Paramount Plus wasn't as big, but considering that Paramount Plus exists and you can watch all of these episodes on Paramount Plus, they should have done something to set it apart in a sense to where you felt like it was worth getting it. Even the discs themselves are very bare and minimalistic in the sense of like, we're putting it out on a disc, be happy about it. So I really wish they could have added anything, really. But either way, we got that one in the collection. No special features to show off on that one either. And that actually brings us to current day, where the last one left is the Patrick Star Show, and God doesn't want me to have that. I do not have the Patrick Star Show. We have not been able to find it. It is new, but I could order it on Amazon, but I'm very, very determined to find it in the wild. If I don't, I will have to just, you know, give up and go on Amazon. But either way, guys, this is the entire DVD collection as far as my collection goes. Without further ado, this was a long video to make. It took a long time for me and Parker to film it. And I know Ryan, our editor, had to take a long time as well. All of us put a lot of time into this video. So if you guys could smash the like button, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, you know the drill. Scan it. Alright guys, that is actually it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This video took so long to film, like I said, so smack that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. You can also give us a like for our PlayStation 2 over here. It worked really hard today. But make sure you guys check out this video on your screen right here, which is the last epic video on this channel. I know you guys are going to love it. If you guys love SpongeBob, you love animation, you're going to love all the stuff that we're dropping over here on this channel. So make sure you check it out. And the next video coming out is going to be a banger too. So make sure you don't miss that by subscribing. Hit the bell notification, all that great stuff. But I'll see you guys over there. And as always, Rep Pack, I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Adios.